it's good fun, this, isn't it? Hull City, 3-1 winners here at Millwall. If you wonder why I'm a bit out of breath, it's because I'm now 41. I eat kebabs and pizzas on a regular basis, and I've just ran from the bottom of the stadium to the top to try and get this video done before I get booted out of the den, because Hull City are winners here in what turned out to be a particularly feisty second half. But I guess that only adds to the entertainment. It was a chaotic start to the game, and it never really kind of eased in many ways. They could have been 2-0 down, Hull City, after 2 minutes. Panda made 2 really good saves, because this lot came out, obviously these were third in the table, in good form. They came out of the traps really quickly. The home fans were as raucous as you'd probably imagine here at the Den, with their team flying in the Championship. And as I say, they could have been 2 up very quickly. But despite that early start that they had, it was City who went in front after 6 minutes through Carl Joseph. Mo Baloumi starting again, did really well down the right-hand side, put a cross in, and it was a lovely finish from Kyle. He just opened his body up and kind of guided the ball with the inside of his left foot in off the post, and City were in front. With if I'm honest, probably their first meaningful attack of the game. They'd really struggled in the first few minutes. They couldn't keep the ball. Millwall were absolutely hammering them from both sides. As I say, the Panda made 2 very, very good saves. And had they have gone in front the home side, obviously, clearly a different game entirely. They're in front, the crowd are up, City have got to come from behind. But Kyle scored a really good goal, and naturally that changed the complete environment here. And within 7 minutes, 6 minutes they scored the first, 13 minutes they scored the second goal. This time it was Liam Miller, his first start. In fact, it's the first time that Liam Miller and Mo Baloumi have started a game for Hull City, I think, in 416 days, since the 1-1 draw with Burnley back in October last year. Obviously, before that was the game where Liam did his ACL, and then what we know, a couple of weeks later on Bonfire Night, Mo did his. Miller down the left-hand side. Charlie Hughes initially did really well to win the ball. Amir Hadzimitovic, one of the 2 changes back in the side, picked it up, freed Miller down the left. Miller crossed for Joseph, and he couldn't miss. He was, 2-3 yards out, bang in the middle of the goal, and just tucked it away, and City were 2-0 up. And in truth, Millwall did have, at 1-0, Panda made a decent save to tip over a shot, but I think it was going over. He just tipped it over. He tipped it over to be on the safe side. Then at 2-0, City were in absolute control. They could have had more. Regan Slater, who was very good today, sort of jinked into the box and had a shot, and I think it came back off the goalkeeper, hit Regan and ricocheted behind for a goal kick. Baloumi, who was, I mean, if you were here today and you've seen Baloumi in action, he was a joy to watch. Millwall, so good was Baloumi in the first half that the left back, just let me check his name, Zach Sturge, who they rate highly here, by the way, he complained of feeling dizzy at half time and was taken off. I mean, if I'd have been up against Mo Baloumi in that first half, I think I'd have been feeling dizzy, and I think I'd have wanted to go off as well and let somebody else take over, because he was unplayable. A couple of times he came in. There was one time he came off the right and he angled a curling left-footed effort, and it just sort of grazed the bar as it went over. There was another one where he forced the goalkeeper into a good save, and City were very, very good. After a dodgy couple of 2 or 3 minutes at the start, they got the 2 quick-fire goals, completely dominated the game. And if there was one, that's not a criticism, it's more of an observation, that they didn't get the 3rd goal before half-time. But what I liked about the end of the half, a couple of minutes added on, you're expecting that Millwall will pump the ball long, try and get something, and you're kind of concerned if they can nick a goal just before half-time. Again, the atmosphere completely changes. But what City actually ended the half with a corner of their own, and the referee Gavin Ward, we'll come to him in a minute. City, I think Crooks won a header and he blew for half time. But I really like that they finished the half strongly. They finished the half on the front foot, trying to get a 3rd goal, rather than kind of what you see so often in those sort of situations is, the winning team goes deep, goes compact, invites a lot of pressure, and kind of just tries to be tight until half time. City were on the front foot, and that was that. And then your next challenge is, right, start the second half. They're gonna have a bit of a rocket from Alex Neil. The crowd are going to be up first 10-15 minutes. Don't give them anything. Don't do anything daft. Don't give away a foul or a set play in and around the box. Don't give away a penalty. Don't do anything stupid that gives this lot the opportunity to get back in the game. And to be fair, they didn't create as much kind of in that middle third of the second half, as I think Jurkovic would have liked them to have done. And then I guess we get to 2 flashpoints, one of which was Liam Miller had been booked for a foul just early in the second half. It was a foul, it was a yellow card. Millwall have won the ball back in the middle of the pot. They're then looking to try and get in on City's back 4. He pulls the shirt. It's just a regulation yellow card. The second one, or the second incident, a few minutes later, he's played in down the left-hand side, is Liam, and the flag goes up for offside. He boots the ball away, and you're thinking, oh, here we go. He's going to get sent off, because he's not just kicked the ball away, he's absolutely blasted it. Now, he's saying he didn't hear the whistle. Thankfully for Hull City, the referee, Gavin Ward, has bought that. He didn't send him off, and I'm thinking, I remember writing in the blog, Sergei's got to take him off now, because if he so much as looks at the referee or his assistants in the wrong way, he'll be sent off. And 2-0 away from home, you can't afford to, particularly here, you can't afford to go down to 10 men. He took him off as quickly as I'd written that, and he put on Oli McBurnie. But bizarrely, so that was obviously, Millwall were furious. The home fans, who every time I've come here and seen Millwall lose, and the home fans are angry with everybody, the referee, just they're angry at everything. It's kind of a rite of passage if they're not winning. But then Carl Joseph runs back, wins the ball, and Azeez, who's their danger man, I think he scored in the last 6 or 7 games in a row, he clatters into him, and then he kicks him in the knackers. The referee doesn't see it. The linesman who was on this side sees it. Sort of play. If I can give you an example, so behind me is the away end. At the opposite end, kind of 20 yards from the Hull City penalty area, Joseph has come back and won the ball. Players then moved up this end of the pitch, towards where Hull City are attacking. Gavin Ward blows the whistle, runs back, because Carl Joseph's still lying flat, face down on the floor, with pain in his wheres, and then the referee dishes out a red card to Azeez. This lot go absolutely apoplectic. It's just chaos. But strangely, that actually, at that point, at 2-0, 11 against 11, the game's sort of meandering along. Millwall are offering absolutely no threat. City are fairly comfortable. It's still 2-0, so we know what 2-0 can be like in football. It's as in control as City were. You always felt that it'd only take a mistake or something to get the home side back in it. Then, absolute bout with a ball inside left, catches Louis Coyle out. The lad, let me just get his name right, Amaku cuts inside, fires a cross panda into the far corner. Really good goal, in fairness. Not great from City's point of view, but a good goal from them. That's with 10 minutes to go or so, and you're thinking, bloody hell, here we go. They've got 10 men. Suddenly the crowd are into it again. City, I wouldn't say hanging on, but you know it's going to be a long last 10 minutes, and there's going to be as it turned out, he played almost 9 minutes, 7 allocated. He added 9 minutes. There was 9 minutes. That would have been a long, essentially 20 minutes with City hanging on and Millwall 10 men galvanised, chucking everything at it. But when you need that third goal, you need something, just a bit of a settler, just to kill it off. Brilliant cross from Louis Coyle. Oli McBurnie on the pitch, nods in the corner. 88 minutes, game, set, match. 7 minutes of injury time came and went. They had a couple of moments. Panda made a relatively straightforward save, I think 94, 95. But by that point, this place was emptying, and away they went. Fantastic. Let's be fair. I thought they defended, apart from the first couple of minutes, and when they conceded the goal, I thought they defended relatively well this afternoon against, a team that scored quite a lot of goals. Yes, Millwall defensively aren't great, but they were still third in the table. And I think to come here with Millwall in good form and win, third game in a week, sometimes the third game in a week can go against you if you tired legs, etc., etc. But if anything, it hampered Millwall, who were played at Derby in midweek. City were just they look strong. They look very, very good after that. So they rode their luck in the first 5 minutes or so. But once they scored, they were the dominant force pretty much up until Millwall got what proved to be a consolation in the closing minutes. But rather than sit back and it be nerving and you risk chucking away a 2-0 lead and maybe getting out of here with a point, or worse still, you end up losing the game 3-2 like we saw at QPR. They seem to have learned from that. They pressed the kind of the accelerator. They were strong after the Millwall goal, and they go and get the third goal and kill it off. And I'm really pleased for just over 1,300, I think 1,340 or something were here. from Hull City, and to get the winning, what proved to be the third goal, McBurnie in front of them, was a fitting finale. So that's back-to-back wins for City, and if you think that since going 4-0 down at half-time against Borough last Friday night, they've come out in that second half, they've shown a bit of character, and then they've beaten Wrexham fairly comfortably, and then they've come here to Millwall and win. So they've gone to Stoke, who were second, and won. They've gone to Millwall, who were third, and won. 10 wins for the season. What more can you say? It's been after what happened to Borough, to go and win the next two games against Wrexham and Millwall, you couldn't have asked for any more. I think most people probably after that Borough game would have taken 4 points. A lot of people were saying, are the wheels falling off? Is that City done? Are they going to start losing games and falling away now? Absolutely not. They've responded with 2 big wins. Wrexham were in that chasing pack. Had Wrexham have won the game at the MKM on Wednesday night, they'd have gone above Hull City. Millwall were 4 points above City in third at the start of play. Now they're only a point ahead of City. So it's been a fantastic response to what happened in that first half against Middlesbrough. And they've now got a clear week. I think the lads are off on their Christmas Beano over the next couple of days, and they've certainly earned it. I know fans always get a bit antsy about Christmas festivities when teams are in losing runs, and I think it was cancelled last year. So they certainly deserve it because they've been brilliant. As we said on Wednesday night, yes, this season they've had frustrations. There's been games where we've come away feeling frustrated that they've thrown games away when they should have won. But it is the Championship. Let's be realistic, and they've now won 10 games. They've won 6 at home and 4 away. And as I said before, it's been a brilliant response to what we saw against Borough. One thing that, a couple of pointers from today for me, obviously delighted for Carl Joseph, because that's now 3 and 2 for him, 6 for the season, and he seems to be. He's developing as well as a centre forward. Some of his hold-up play today was brilliant. He obviously scored 2 really good goals. He got a player sent off. That sounds like he kind of cheated. Not absolutely, that didn't happen. He was fouled. The lads kicked out at him. That's not his fault. But 3 of the big moments in the game, Carl Joseph has been involved. And the first goal was actually quite a difficult finish because it's coming across him, and he's got to open his body up and angle it. And the only place he can really score is a cross goal, because the goalkeeper's got the kind of, if he goes right foot, probably the goalkeeper saves it because he's at the near post. Where the gap is the far corner, and it's got to be precise to get it in that corner and low enough, but not kind of glance it too far where it goes post and wide. So it's a really clever finish, and his movement for the second goal was very clever. So I thought he was very good. And obviously you've got what I like about it is obviously now he's got 3 and 2. You can afford to be a bit more kind of patient with Oli McBurnie. If let's say Carl was injured or Carl wasn't scoring, the clamour to get McBurnie back in the team would be strong naturally. But because Carl's scoring, they can afford to be a little bit more careful with McBurnie and kind of bring him off the bench for 25 minutes because they're going to need him. What you don't want to do is let's not forget, before Wednesday night he'd only had 3 or 4 training sessions. Well, he's not had many since. He's only had 1 more since Wednesday night, so he was never ready really to start the game today. And what I would say is you don't need to start him against West Bromwich Albion next Saturday, because Kyle is going to keep the shirt, and rightly so. He scored 2, but that against the tiring defence you can bring on McBurnie and you've got a threat, and that is a fantastic position to be in, particularly with Joff being sidelined for the next month or so. Another key thing today was the difference of the wingers. As I touched on before, it's over a year since they could call on Liam Miller and Mo Balumi, and so to have both those down each flank, they were a constant threat. They were in terms of Richard and everybody asking about Mataza. I'll come back to. I'll answer Mataza in just a minute. Having Miller and Balumi down the flanks is what we all wanted last season, and it was a contributing factor to what happened last season. Not having those two available, and also not having a centre forward, like McBurnie or even Joseph in the form that he's finding now. He's scoring. He's starting. He's got 6 in 20 games. He's starting to find a rhythm. He's starting to find form. He's got belief. He's got belief. He's been given belief from the manager, and that's a big thing. So, but having Miller and Balumi fit and firing is a joy to behold, isn't it? And it's going to make such a difference. If you've got one winger, teams will double up on him and stop him and think, if we can stop him, then we stop their supply. But how do you stop 2 of them? And then you've got you've got something like Crooks or Slater who's very good, bombing through the middle. It's really hard, and Millwall just couldn't live with it. So look, fantastic away performance, fantastic away win. Wasn't without its nervous moments, but it's Hull City. I mean, that's always going to happen. But huge credit to them to come away from here with 3 points. And let me just go back and start reading some questions. Let's have a look. Danny, Alex Neil blaming the ref rather than giving any credit. I've got to be honest, I was dragged out of the media room to go and interview Carl Joseph, so I didn't actually, as I went, I held the door open for Alex to walk through and do it, so I've not actually heard what he had to say. I would understand him moaning about Liam Miller. I get that. I think if the boot was on the other foot, we'd be furious if one of the opposition's best players wasn't sent off for something like that. But they were already 2-0 down at that point. So, yeah, you can say that they'd have half an hour against 10 men, but there's no guarantees they come back and win the game. So, yes, Miller should have gone, really. But if he's saying, I didn't hear the whistle, then, fair play, and the referee's, taken that. But, yeah, I would like. You've got to give credit to the way City came back at them and were clinical. They were ruthless on the counter attack. But anyway, whatever. Dan Slater was immense again today. He deserved a goal. He was really unlucky as well. Richard, exciting times. How long until Matazo's back? I think realistically, end of January. I mean, he's not back in training yet. He did have, I said this the other day, he's had a bit of a setback, which happens coming back from ACLs. And then we've seen with Mo and Liam what can happen when you come back from ACLs. The hamstring is a risk, so let's hope that doesn't happen. But I would suspect end of January, beginning of February, before we see Elliott back in the round and starting regularly. Micah, buzzing for Joseph. He proves that hard work does pay off. Absolutely, don't disagree. Tony, any update on John Lundstrom? We may have 3 players and double figures on goals at this rate. The expectation on Lundstrom is that he'll be back and available at Hillsborough on Boxing Day. Now, I know in the past where they've put timescales on players and it's not happened, people have got frustrated. But that's the hope that he'll be back for Hillsborough. So let's wait and see. Dan, Joseph's hold-up play has been lacking up until today. What a first off. I touched on just now. I thought he was brilliant. 2 good goals and his general forward play was very, very good. William, haven't enjoyed a season like this in years. I echo those thoughts, and I'm sure so do many Tigers fans. Adam, another comment on Danny, on Elliot. I think we've covered that off. Lee, fantastic travelling support before Christmas. Yeah, 1,300 and just over 1,300 were here. It's a heck of a long way. It's not cheap coming to watch football in the capital. Watching any football is not cheap, but watching football in London is expensive. It's a heck of a long way. But I said this about the fans back when we were here back in January when City won a massively important game here, 1-0, and there was a similar sort of following. It was tremendous support down here, and you've been rewarded with a great away performance, a dramatic, captivating away performance, and 3 points. I just hope the MKM's full on Saturday because it's the final game before Christmas. Ticket prices are decent. I know there's an offer on tickets in the Upper West. I just hope it's a bumper crowd because this team, they're flying, aren't they? And they need all the support they can get. I know it's expensive. I know it's not easy. It's the game before Christmas. We've all got family stuff going on, but I think if fans are able to at this difficult time get behind them because they're great to watch. You don't know how it's going to go. They might lose 4-3 or they might win 4-3 or what have you. But I think we can all agree that given what happened last season and the difficulties over the summer, this has been a pleasure so far. Yes, there's been ups and downs. That's going to happen. Yes, as I said before, there's been games that they've thrown away, and you come away from some of them feeling frustrated. You come away from Borough feeling deflated, but they've made up for it with those the 2 wins we've seen. Lee, great performance, great win. Completely agree. Steve, another comment there praising Carl Joseph. Let's have a look, see what else we've got before we. Brian, did I enjoy Utrecht? I'm not going to bang on about it because it's a different football club, but I did. 24 hours, one of the best 24 hours of my life, watching a team that I've supported for all my life. I've seen Forest get relegated at QPR, saw us beat them 5-0 at Oldham on Boxing Day one year. To go and see them win in Europe away from home, 88th minute winner it was magical. So I was delighted to get tickets and get in the ground and see it with my brother, who we've been there together. So football fans, we go through the mill, don't we? We see our team through the ups and the downs, and that was a magical experience. It's been a great week to see City beat Wrexham and then fly down to Heathrow, fly over there, and see Forest win that, and get back in time to watch this. It's been as weeks go in football, it's been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, thank you very much for asking. Brian, fantastic from everybody. Yeah, agreed with that. The manager got everything spot on today. Carl hitting the right spaces for the wingers. Mo tortured their fullback. Mo was brilliant first off. Liam was fortunate. I think Liam's a really honest fella. Really like him, and I'm sure he would have be honest and say, look, yeah, on another day the referee doesn't take I didn't hear it, ref, and I get sent off, and you never know. But it went City's way today. There's been plenty of games this season where things haven't gone their way. We take that little bit of rub of the green, and I think they earned it. Yeah, Danny, as soon as it came out before the Wrexham game, we may look for another goalkeeper. The challenge to Panda, he keeps a clean sheet. It's funny what that does. And it's the same with Kyle. He's now got McBurnie chomping at the bit to get back in the team. He knows if he keeps scoring, he'll stay in the team. Competition subconsciously has a massive impact. Louise, other teams are losing players, ours are coming back. Yeah, it's the Championship. Let's not take anything for granted. We've lost Gowhart, who used to say, that somebody else doesn't go down in training. It's been one of those seasons, and City have still got, let's be honest, in Matarza, Casey Palmer, Lundstrom and Joff, big players out. Let's be realistic. Certainly Matarza, Lundstrom and Gowhart, they'd be in the first team. So Palmer probably not at the minute, but on the fringes. So they've still got 3 first team players out of the team injured. So unfortunately, it's happening to everybody. There's a lot of injuries, but let's enjoy the fact that we've got more players coming back. That can only be a good thing. Paul Miller, yeah, he's lucky. We've touched on that. William Panda was fantastic today, completely assured, and that triple save, yeah. And a lot of his glove work as well. He came for a lot of crosses. He just looked a different goalkeeper today. So it's a really good point you've made there, Will. I agree with what you've said as well. Anthony, great from Carl Joseph. City players are stepping up to fill the void every time a key player picks up an injury. It's the team spirit. They've got a fantastic team spirit, and that will take them far. And I just think, I've said it all season, I think they're a really dangerous team. When they've got players fit, when they're at it, they're a match for anybody. We've seen it already. They can beat everybody. And I think they're a really dangerous team. Really dangerous with the players they've got available and coming back. David, best performance of the season, but got to keep it going. Yeah, 21 games gone. There's a fair chunk gone now, and it's proven this isn't a fluke. Everybody kept saying, "Oh, they've won a couple, yeah, but they'll lose a couple now and they'll fall down." They've got players injured, they'll start losing games, or they've been beat by Borough. That's the end of it. They'll start falling down the table. They're sixth, and they're still sixth. And they're starting to build a bit of a cushion to not the teams directly below them, because obviously Stoke have won today and leapfrogged them before kick-off. Now they're only a point above Stoke, but there's I think they've got 4 points gap to the Southampton, so there's a little bit of a gap opening up to the teams in mid-table. Look, it's going to be one of those seasons where you win a couple, you're in the top 6. If you lose a couple, you're going to be out of it. But I think I've seen enough from them in the first 21 games to think they've got a real chance this season. Absolutely. Danny, after that performance, Femi Azeez will be a big miss. Yeah, that is the one kicker really, that Femi is going to be out. Well, he's not out. He's not injured. Obviously, with him going off to AFCON, and we wish him well with Nigeria. It's a massive competition for African players, and you wish Nigeria all the best. But I don't think there'd be too many tears shed, and I mean this with absolutely the greatest respect to Nigeria and to Femi. I don't think too many City fans will be shedding a tear if they get knocked out Nigeria early on in the competition, if it means they get Ajayi back. So it's kind of a backhanded compliment in some respects. We hope, you want Nigeria to do well, but if they get knocked out, great in some respects, because you get Femi back quicker. If he stays to the end, we talked about this the other day, I think the final is the 18th of January, so he won't be back. And we play Preston on the Tuesday night of the following week. He won't be back for that if they win it. It'd be the following weekend. So, it's a good month or so. Well, it isn't exactly a month he would be out, given that, we play West Brom on the 20th of December and we play Preston on the 20th of January, whatever it is. So, but as I say, we wish him well. And from a football point of view, I hope Nigeria go on and win the tournament because Shemi's had a fantastic career, and that success for him would be a huge boost. Right, a quick few comments before I go. Louise, great teamwork, fantastic 3 points, super Sergey. I loved his attire today. He normally he's tracksuit or suit, but was kind of smart. But he was jeans and white trainers today. Adam, brilliant result, keeps in the top 6 hours. It wasn't necessarily a holiday, but it was a great 24 hours, as I've touched on already. So thanks very much. Liam, if we're not taking seriously about the playoffs now, I don't know what we've got to do. I wouldn't worry too much. Keep under the radar. I always think is let them talk about Leicester, Southampton, Ipswich, who were beaten at Leicester today, I think. So let them talk about everybody else. I couldn't care a monkeys. I think City are going along nicely. Danny, seems like Joseph's been working on his strength lately. Seems to be more of a handful. Yeah, he's got to develop, and I think he's watched Oli. I think he's watched what Oli does, how Oli plays, and he's learning. And I think Oli's helping him as well, which is a good thing. Right, I think we're going to have to call it a day because time's ticking on, and I don't want to be locked in. There's some grounds I don't want to be locked in any ground, but I don't fancy, given how angry the Millwall fans were, I don't fancy being locked in here, if I'm brutally honest. So I'm just scrolling through a few more comments. Danny, surely Crooks and Slater together needs to be the midfield going forward. They have. I thought they were great, but I thought Amir was good today. We've been critical of him at times, but I thought he kept it ticking along nicely. Did a lot of work that necessarily doesn't get seen, and he played really. It was only a simple ball, but it was an effective simple ball from Miller for the opening goal. I thought he played well today. Steve, beginning to think Serge might be the special one. I certainly like him a lot. Dan, having 2 good wingers gave us the great balance. Defo missing Miller until he came on in midweek. Yep. Norman, a week off now and a well-earned rest for the players. Enjoy your Christmas do, lads. Yep, agreed with that. They've certainly earned it after the year that has been. Let's not forget the year as it ended as well. Michael Zambrano doesn't Adjo know in the club that have him. Could that be dodgy ground? I don't think so. I think clubs do inter deals all the time. I don't think there's anything dodgy as long as it's all above board, which as long as it all meets the approval of the EFL. I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Alistair, great 3 days. Yeah, it's been a great. It has. I think more importantly than for me, I think for City, it's been a great few days after the last Friday night. Let's hope it does continue. I agree with that. But yeah, it's been a magical week. Richard, sending greetings from Czechia, proud of City all the way out here in Central Europe. What a season we're having, absolutely. Thanks for the comment. Steve, do you think top 6 come May? Don't see why not. Why not? I mean, they've won 10 games. They're winning at home, they're winning away. Only Cov have scored more goals. If they can find a way to tighten up, which they have done over the last couple of games since that Borough shambles, then why not? They're going to be a threat. Nobody wants to play them because they have got goals. You've got Miller and Bloomy coming from both sides. You've got goals for the middle. You've got McBurnie on fire. I mean, everybody said, didn't they? Well, McBurnie's out injured. What's going to happen till City now? Well, Joff scored 8 in 10. Joff gets injured. McBurnie comes back, scores 2 off the bench. Balloom's been out for a while. Comes back, gets 3 assists in 3 games, and looks a threat. Miller's back, a couple of assists. I mean, they've got threats. If they keep people fit, if they keep their key players fit, they've got as good a chance. And I mean this: if they keep players fit, they've got as good a chance as anybody else. I don't care what anybody else says. They've got as good a chance as anybody else to get in that top 6. Martin, good display. Nice to see Miller back. Are we really top 6? Yeah, I mean, they've been top 6 for a while now. They've been in and around it for the last few weeks, so it's not a fluke. Dan Panda needs to just fix his kicking. I thought he was much better today, in fairness. Richard, Kyle's got the perfect mentor in McBurnie. It can only benefit. I completely agree. Let's see what else we've got before I go. Balloony masterclass from Sarah. He was a joy to watch. As I said before, I'm not surprised their left back went off feeling dizzy at half time. William, I'm not bothered how long Shemi's gone for as long as he stays fit. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Hopefully the vultures don't start circling around Hughes. In January was superb with Shemi. Yeah, I thought Hughes was excellent. But I thought it's difficult to pick out anybody because I thought it was a really, we've said about City for the last few weeks that they are a 45-minute team, that they play for one half and don't play for the other. But against Wrexham, I thought it was the most complete performance. of the season, probably bar Southampton, albeit in a different way, where Southampton, they dominated the game, City without the ball. Today was another complete performance, bar that rocky couple of minutes where they could have been 2 down. I thought they were brilliant. They had that rocky spell after the sending off where they conceded, but they shook it out of the system. And let's be honest, there were two. As much as you look at City, there are always 2 teams in this. And Millwall, if we're crediting City for being sixth in the table, you've got to credit Millwall for being 3rd. That's no fluke either. So this was, I know they've got players out, but whatever. So have City. You know, you can only play what's in front of you. And I think sometimes we don't give enough credit to the opposition for how they impact a game and affect a game. But City dealt with it brilliantly today. Jay, brilliant response to the loss against Borough. Agreed with that comment. Absolutely. What else have we got? Steve, the wife, said my tea's ready. I wish I'd got my tea cooked for me tonight. Sarah, do you think McBurnie will start? I don't think he'll start. How can you can have a clear week with Miller and Bellumi getting rest, some nice rest, and they'll be fit and raring to go. You can't. It's not like one of them's injured. You can shove Joseph wide left and no. I think that front lot stays as it is, and rightly so. Simon, Hull City fan living in Tunbridge Wells, was there today. What a great train ride home I'm having. Come on, you all, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, support was first class today. William Giles's defensive work isn't talked about. He's got much better. I think it is. I think if you listen to the pod, we credit Gilo with making a big difference, big development defensively. Danny, I wonder if McVitie's guy jumped back on board now. We're doing well. Murat Olka, yeah. I missed the biscuits. That's a sore point. I'm still not over that. Right, that's me done here at the Den. Thank you everybody for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed what we had. What the City boys delivered for you today. 3-1 win here at Millwall. 2nd win on the spin in the Championship. 2nd away win on the spin after winning at Stoke in the last away game. Plenty more to come from here at the Den over the next couple of days. We'll have the podcast for you I'm not sure when, but in the early part of next week, and yeah, we'll then be building up towards the visit of West Brom, who had a great win last night against Sheffield United at the Hawthorns, and have been actually better away from home than they had been at home before that. So another exciting encounter, the last one before Christmas, an occasion to look forward to as always, particularly because the last couple of years City have provided reindeer gingerbread men before the game, or gingerbread reindeers is probably the right terminology. So I'm looking forward, hopefully, the budget stretches to those, because they were very nice. Lovely little pre-Christmas treat. So, but yeah, have a good week, everybody. Have a good festive weekend, and we'll see you again soon. If you've got any comments, by the way, Alistair, I'm not going to get into the cup run now. We'll cover that. But yeah, I agree with you. We'll cover that at a later date. But if you've got any comments you want to send us about today's game, or indeed the Wrexham game, looking ahead to Albion, bloody, get in touch at the 1904 Club on Twitter, and we'll get them read out on the next episode of the pod with myself, Burnsy, Prutz, Catherine, and Fletch. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Up the Tigers. Have a good week.